Real Madrid already own one of the most expensive attacking lines in world football. So it's worth asking why, for most of this summer, they've been buying defenders. That's the real story of Madrid's 2026 window. Not a shopping spree for more stars, a repair job. Because behind the trophies, last season kept exposing the same thing. A backline that stopped holding together when the biggest matches asked it to. At left back, Alvarez faded out of the picture, and the alternatives behind him never convinced. In central defense, injuries to Eder Milito, the departure of an aging David Alaba, and an uneven season from young Dean Howson left the middle thinner than a Madrid squad should be. Even the right side, where Trent Alexander-Arnold arrived to great noise, delivered a quiet, underwhelming league debut. So this window was never about adding more magic. It was about whether Madrid could finally fix the part of the team that kept costing them control. And the way they've gone about it tells you something about the man now making the calls. The man making the calls is Jose Mourinho, and the reporting around him points to one clear idea: win now. Where Madrid spent recent years collecting young talent, this summer's signings skew older, more finished, more ready. A deliberate change of profile, experience over projects. Start with the fullbacks, because that's where the bleeding was worst. On the left, Madrid signed Marc Cucurella. From Chelsea, not a highlight machine, a defender who defends. Aggressive, durable, comfortable with the unglamorous job. He goes straight into the role Carvajal vacated, and he changes what the left side is for. Less overlap, more security. On the right, in came Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan, reported as Madrid's first registered signing of the new season. Dumfries is power and directness, a wingback's engine in a fullback's shirt. He inherits the right flank. And he does it as the club let a legend go, Dani Carvajal, after more than a decade and a shelf of Champions League medals, left as a free agent. One era closing to fund the next. Then the center. Ibrahima Konate arrived from Liverpool on a free, a quick, physical center back entering his prime, exactly the profile Madrid's injury-hit defense was missing. He isn't a like-for-like replacement. He's insurance against the thing that broke them, covering Milito's fitness and easing the younger options. Notice the pattern. 3 of the first 4 signings are defenders, and each answers a specific failure, not a marketing brief. The 4th signing bends the pattern. Bernardo Silva arrived from Manchester City, also on a free, an intelligent midfielder who knits play together and drains the carelessness from Madrid's build-up. He's the control signing, not there to defend a flank but to make the whole team calmer in possession. Add it up and the logic holds together well. But here's where the story stops being tidy. At the same time, they sensibly patched the defense. Madrid were reportedly chasing Julian Alvarez from Atletico, a bid said to be around 150 million, turned down. A forward. A huge fee. For a team whose front line was never the problem. That's the contradiction the rest of the film has to answer. So what could this team actually look like? Here's a projection, not a confirmed lineup, just the shape the signings point toward. In a back 4, the new spine reads Dumfries at right back, Konate alongside Milito or Howson, Cucurella at left back, with Antonio Rudiger rotating through that same center back slot. In front of them, a midfield built for control, a holding anchor in O'Reilly and Tchouaméni, Bellingham given license to push forward, and Bernardo Silva as the connector, a role he should rotate through with Federico Valverde. In possession, the width comes from the fullbacks, Dumfries high on the right, Cucurella tucking in to protect the rebuild. Out of possession, Mourinho's fingerprints show. A compact, organized block that asks the front players to track back and trust the new defenders to hold a line. There's an alternative, maybe the more revealing one. Shift to a back 3, Konate, Milito, and Rudiger, with Dumfries and Cucurella pushed up as wingbacks. That frees a double pivot to shield the defense and lets Bellingham and Silva play closer to Mbappe. control territory without exposing the fullbacks one-on-one. Both shapes share a priority the old Madrid didn't always have: protect the middle first, attack from a stable base. The freedom still runs through Vinicius and Mbappe. The player most likely sacrificed for balance is whichever creator doesn't fit the tighter midfield. A rebuild this specific has losers as well as always winners. The clearest is at fullback. The old guard is gone, Carvajal a free agent, the fringe left-backs now behind a first-choice signing. Younger academy names who expected minutes now sit below experienced imports. The trade every win now plan makes, readiness today at the cost of the next generation's runway. The more interesting consequence is up front. Vinicius Jr.'s contract runs to 2027, and Madrid reportedly face a real decision. Renew at a premium, sell while the value's high, or risk losing him for nothing. Chase another elite forward like Alvarez on top of that, and the maths gets awkward fast. You can't guarantee big minutes to everyone. So the pressure of this rebuild isn't in defense anymore. It's in the attacking surplus the club keeps adding to, and a contract clock ticking on one of its biggest names. Here's the honest read. In defense, this is the most coherent work Madrid have done in years. Cucurella, Dumfries, and Konate each fix a named problem, and Bernardo Silva quietly makes the whole team more controlled. But they haven't stopped, and the instinct to keep chasing forwards is where the risk lives. A squad built to win immediately, with an average age that says the window is short. Get it right in the next season or two, and it looks brilliant. Leave it too long, and it's an expensive group aging together. One attacker too many, and a Vinicius question unanswered. Balanced at the back, top-heavy by habit, and entirely dependent on winning before the clock runs out.